Hello and welcome to the channel. Are you ready for spring? I know I am. If you'd like to see what my garden looks like before spring really rolls in, stay tuned. The temperatures have been turning into spring-like temperatures. We have mid 50s, high 60s in the evenings. We're getting up to the mid 70s, mid 80s during the day. And today it is in the mid 80s. So I've been going through the garden and cleaning up some of the debris, the dead debris, pulling back, taking off some of my winter coverings. And I'm trying to assess what's alive, what might be coming back, and where can I put all the new things I like to get in the garden this year. So let's take a look at the garden, shall we? I have not pulled off the greenhouse plastic off of the cattle panel just yet, but I have been going inside and cutting back some of the things that have died back. Now, my bananas took a bit of a beating, but they're not dead. I chopped the tops off of them, and I may have to chop them down a little further, but they are alive. So I'm just going to wait and see what pops up. The peppers, I'm not going to go inside, but the peppers look all dry, but the stems are green and happy. When you try to tug on them, they're not coming out of the pot. And I do have a few baby seedlings that have popped up in some of the pots because during the spring and fall, summer as well, if any of the peppers dried up or something happened to them, I just dropped them inside the pot, always trying to reseed. So this is what the front of the cattle panel looks like right now. I know you can't really see a whole lot, but I've been in here cutting back as of yesterday. Covering off of this side of the garden, and the mustards don't look too bad. Now I do have some beans in here, some bush beans. I will be taking those beans and planting them in all of the containers like this one. I've got 4 of them now. So I'll be putting beans in all these pots along with other things as well. I'll be planting probably some turnip greens and a few other things. We haven't quite met spring yet, even though it does feel like spring. So I'll be planting up a couple pots that I'm working on right now. Taking pots from other places and moving them around. This over here was my pumpkin patch last year. And so what I've done is I've taken all of my circular pots, one, maybe not all, but a few of them that were kind of scattered around, and I've placed them right here. This is going to be my circular garden. And so right now I took the covering off. I haven't taken it all the way off because I don't know whether or not it's going to turn cold again. But for right now, this is what's over here. And I have 3 pots that I need to pot up. This one, and that one over there. These 2 right here I need to put soil in. So I'll be doing that probably on Friday, later on this week. But this is the circular garden. It does have many things growing. And as soon as the weather warms up a little bit more, I'm sure more things will be popping up. So I'm excited to see what's going on and what will be coming up in the circular garden. I haven't worked on my fire pit yet, so disregard the fire pit. But I have been moving things around. I used to have my wood pile right there, and I've moved it. I've collected all of the bits and pieces to help start my fire for the fire pit in that pail over there and in that bucket. But I've also made some trellises and some plant covers with the fence panels that I had. And so that's a project that I've worked on. Now, this looks like it's worse for the wear. These are 2 of my clematises. They're white. They are actually waking up. I just noticed that last night. I was going to repot this one and repurpose that pot, put that clematis in a pot this size. And I need to hurry up and do that because I just noticed that it is waking up. Just like that. There it is. It's waking up, and I don't want to disturb it too much by hurting it, but I do want to get it out that pot and put that pot in the circular garden. And I just now noticed that this one is waking up as well. I'm just not noticing this right now. So it is waking up. Over here, that's where I've moved my wood pile. As I mentioned, I'm cleaning up the garden. So I used to have okra growing in a pot right here. I have moved that pot and repurposed it for something else. I've also put this brand new pot in the garden. I'm not finished filling it, but I have created a hookah culture method in it. It has holes in the pot, and so it is sitting and waiting for me to get to it. The greenhouse is active, 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 active. I've been cleaning up the greenhouse. As you can see, lots of plants, lots of plants. I created a new bench. It's a little worse for the wear. It was cold that day. I couldn't feel my fingers, so it needs some work. But for right now, it is doing what I needed to do, and it is holding what I need on this bench over here. So I can make more space to grow and house more things in this greenhouse. So as soon as I know the weather is definitely going to stay warm, I'll bring out my warm cannas, my warm weather cannas, and my amaryllises, and get everything off the floor and then clean the floor up so that way I have nothing on the floor. Now I know many people talk about, content creators, they'll start something and they never show you the result of things. Well, these are my mushroom baskets. They did not survive. I think they got too much water, and so nothing, they started to bloom and then gone. I'm not going to give up. I still have them. So for right now, my mushroom experiment was a bust for me, but that's okay. We're going to keep on trying. And I thought my pomegranates were dead, but nope, they're waking up too. Lots of stuff waking up. And I don't know if you all remember that I have a ton of aloe vera, but this one is beginning to put on more babies. And all of those, except for one, are the babies that I pulled out of this one last year. So I will need to find a home for aloe vera because I have too much. I only want to keep 4 pots, the two big ones on the end, and this one right here since it continues to give me babies. But I've got about 4 pots that I'm probably going to get rid of. So yeah, that's the garden is not fully woken up yet, so I'm still working on it. I did pull back the greenhouse plastic. I need to trim back and stake up my grapevine as well as my blackberry because the blackberry is waking up. I don't see signs of the grape waking up yet, but I've been clearing up all of this area right here. You can't see behind in the big pots, but I have been clearing and cleaning that up. So we'll see what wakes up when it's time for it to wake up. Because right now, and excuse my shadow, the raspberries, I don't know if they made it through the winter. And I'm really sad about that. If they did not make it, I'm not going to fool around with raspberries anymore because they're just not doing well for me in this garden. They get plenty of water, plenty of food, they get some shade, but they are not liking it. And I don't want to put them in the ground because they can be a thug and they can take over. And I don't want that. This is my youngest asparagus. And this was the pot that the okra was growing in. And I took that red pot out because it was breaking down. And I replaced the okra pot and put that new young asparagus in it. Next year, this asparagus will be able to be eaten. But this year, it has to sit one more year. And again, all the way in the back, those big pots, I have been cleaning those out, cutting things back. As you can see, I have growth. That is my malanga that's coming back. My longevity spinach, some of it died back, but you can tell, let's see, there are some green stalks in there. I cut that back and I have that rooting. I've got a whole cup of it rooting in the garage. Over here is my Okinawan spinach. It does look worse for the wear, but I did cut that back as well. And I do have that rooting in the garage. I know you all can't see, but I've got a ton of leeks back there growing. I just threw a bunch of leeks as well as, nope, those are leeks. I thought onions, but nope, all leeks. But I've been trimming back a lot. The Swiss chard is looking really good. The elderberry is waking up. It's not dead. I'm not certain about my pigeon pea. I may have to start pigeon peas over, but we'll see. I think it's dead, but I can only do what I can do. And back here, these, let me pull back so you guys can see. Back here, I put different cabbages and whatnot. Some of them have grown and started to show me that they want to live. And some of the seeds did not. That's one of the reasons why I started seeds indoors, because I was tired of putting seeds out and waiting, and I got no germination. So these pots right here, these containers, they had different kales in them, and they did not do well. They didn't overwinter well. I'm starting to get a little bit of pest pressure, so I will need to spray. But all of these are different types of kales, as well as garlic chives. As you can see, little babies, pest pressure, little baby kales, pest pressure, and that one is empty. In this pot, I have celery, Chinese white celery, and one pink celery that overwintered. I just pulled that out and put it over here yesterday. This pot, I had turnip greens. They are all gone. The only thing I have left is one garlic. Is that garlic or onion? No, that's garlic because it has a flat leaf. And I've got two shallots in there. I'm thinking the shallots are probably putting down roots, and it'll push up the greens once it warms up. We'll see. I'm going to be potting this up with beets, rutabagas, and turnips again, but I haven't gotten around to that just yet. This is the back side of the cattle panel, and I haven't done anything besides clean the pots out over here. You can't see them. This is where the sweet potatoes were. I've cleaned those 3 pots out. I had potatoes growing in this pot last year, and I have to dig around to see if I have any left, my purple potatoes. In that pot, I had horseradish, or I have horseradish, but I also was trying to grow some burdock. But from the looks of it, it looks like I actually have an asparagus coming up in here. So I'm going to have to dig this asparagus baby out and put it in a pot because it can't live in this pot. And of course, peppers. I've got these 3 peppers right here that look worse for the wear. So those 3, I thought it was 2, but now it looks like it's 3 that are probably dead. But such is life. I have other peppers that I am germinating inside, and these serranos, and I'm not sure what else was in here. That one over there was a shishido, but the one in the middle, I'm not sure. But we'll see. We shall see in a month or 2 if we get anything growing back out of those pots. 2 huge pots back there that have different cabbages and broccolis in them. You all can't see back there, but I can show you a snippet of what's in there. As you can see, let me see if I can move this out of the way. I'm trying not to go back there, but as you can see, I've got to pull this up, but I've got different cabbages, and I have onions in there as well, either onions or leeks. I've been throwing onions and leek seeds everywhere, you guys, and the same thing is in that pot right under there. So I need to pull this plastic back and fold it up, but I've been trying to leave it just in case it gets cold. Over in the orchard area, the fig tree looks really good. I don't know if you can see that, but the tips are nice and green, nice and pretty. So the fig is alive. This fig loses all of its leaves, but the tips are pushing out nice and green. I have not taken that off, so I don't know if that has roots on it, but I'll be unveiling that with you all very soon, probably next month, and I'll chop that off and get it in a pot. This is a sorrel, that just a leaf sorrel, like a lettuce kind of sorrel. I need to move it from over here and put it in my leafy green area. It did not die. It does look worse for the wear, but it did not die. My olive tree looks really good. It didn't die. Now this was callaloo, and I knew the callaloo was going to die. I didn't cover it, but I had so much callaloo last year, I was willing to sacrifice that callaloo. Now this pot had Egyptian spinach in it. It's gone. I need to repot that. Now this is my moringa tree. And of course the top has died back. I did test it. It was really green, but the skin, the bark of it peels off very easily. So I know the root is alive, but I need to chop it and it'll come back. But I have lots of garlic growing inside, a couple of garlics growing inside. Over here I've got broccoli rabe, and let me see, I can't read it, I'm going in the wrong direction. I can't see it. That's early something rapini broccoli, and if you can tell, I need to come out and harvest it. It's got a little broccoli head, so I need to come and get that. And of course, I think that's the broccoli rabe. So yes, over here things are looking a little bit sparse, but that's okay. We are still growing over here. This pot is empty. I put this pot over here. I will be growing in this pot. And the plum tree lost all of its leaves. It is still alive. I've been taking a look at it, hoping it didn't get overwatered, but it still looks good. So we'll see how it goes. That's the plum tree. Oh, sorry, I'm stepping on stuff. It is also growing garlic in the inside. I will be putting some flowers in these pots, probably some clover. This is a pomegranate baby, and it doesn't look all that great. It's also growing beans, if you can see that. The pomegranate was right here. Pomegranates, they're kind of tricky, but we'll see if that one comes back. If it doesn't come back, I'm going to take it out, and I've got several in the greenhouse. I'll put something else in here and then put the pomegranate in a slightly smaller pot. But I've got beans coming up in this pot, as well as I have garlic. This is my baby bay laurel. It got a little touched by the cold, but other than that, it looks good. I'm gonna take those off. It also has onions and garlic in the pot. Now, I think I made a mistake with this Barbados cherry. They said it could take the cold, but I think it got a little bit too cold for the Barbados cherry. But we're going to see what happens with this Barbados cherry. I did save seed from it. I'm going to see if it can grow from seed. We'll double check. I also have garlic around the base of that. This pot is empty as far as trees are concerned, but I do have garlic growing out of that as well. This is my Fort Sam peach. Excuse me, my Fort Sam peach. It has lost leaves, of course, and it is still alive. I even took some clippings, and the clippings are alive. And I also have garlic growing in this pot. So that looks good. Now, I thought that the castor bean plant was going to die, and it looks like it may have. It was still alive. I did cut some pieces off of it, but it was still alive. I was messing around with the trunk, and let's see, it might have finally died because it got really cold. If it did, I'm just going to take it out, but I had to prop it up. Let me show y'all. Excuse me, I'm backing up, y'all. I'm trying not to fall. I had to prop it up, and I trimmed it because it was just everywhere, and I was trying to make sure that it wasn't causing me to fall down. So I had to prop it up. But if it doesn't come back, which it wasn't supposed to, but it lasted a really long time. It just recently began to look like this. I want to say at the end of middle of January, it started to look like this, and then it just died. So I think that snow killed it, but that's fine. Having it here was a bit of a challenge, so I'll take it out. I do have some seeds that are all over the place on the ground, and I'm sure that something will be sprouting up here soon. I can always dig that seed out, transplant it, and put it there. But I also planted some seeds. Let me go slowly. I planted seeds for the castor bean right there. And I also planted ginger over there. So I am putting things in the ground. Over here, the raised bed garden, almost everything died except for a couple of plants. And I don't know if this is a weed or if this is ashwagandha. I don't know. I did plant ashwagandha right here, and I planted radishes over here. And I also have radishes that were in the container at the bottom that I need to pull the last few of those out because the tops have already died. But this is clary sage, and it did not mind the cold at all. As you can see, the clary sage looks really good. And so again, not sure if this is ashwagandha or a weed. Let me see if I can smell it. I don't smell anything. I have been clearing up, cleaning out, and refreshing the soil in both of my green stalks. And what I mean by refresh is I've been just mixing the soil up with my hurry knife, putting fertilizer in it. As you can see, they're dirty because my gloves were dirty. I've watered it. And so I put a little bit more soil in it. I haven't filled it all the way up because I do want to sow some seeds and put some baby seedlings in it. A couple of seeds have germinated. That's lettuce because I had some seeds in there. I have a couple more in here somewhere. I don't know what it is, but it's somewhere in this one. I have baby baby onions in here. Some of them look a lot worse for the wear, but I have a couple of pockets that have a few things that have overwintered or things that are just now starting. So the green stalks I'm hoping will be flourishing this year, but we shall see. Like I said, it's really dirty right now because I've been putting soil in it. My gloves have been dirty. What I can tell you all is I put my own homemade worm castings in my green stalk, and I have composting worms in many of these tiers. I don't recall seeing any in this one because it was dark, but I did see some before I lost light in this one. And I'm also creating new buckets. I am trying to pack this garden this year. Last but certainly not least, my collard green. These are the babies that I sowed seeds for last fall. And this collard green right over here is a collard green that I've had in this pot for a couple of years. Now I have to spray because I have some pest pressure already, but I'm excited about it because this is food that has lasted for several years, this area right here. And now I've got some new collard greens and I'm glad to have this pot filled in. So what I'll be doing is I'll be putting some beans, some bush beans, probably around the front. Once I clean everything up, I'll put some bush beans around the front, and maybe there's a pocket right there, and I can put some bush beans right in there. But that is all from the garden today. All I'm going to show you today. I know I rushed through it really quickly, but I was trying to hurry up and get this video done because I've got work to do. So I'll see you either in the kitchen or the food forest real soon. So do me a favor before I go, hit that like button, leave me a comment, share the video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.